Today we introduce you to one of the latest blockbuster thrillers, Parasite, The Grey Force. The story begins with an alien bug falling from the sky. It reveals itself and crawls down a pipe. It comes into a room. A young man is lying on a couch, and the bug gets in his ear. At the same time, her girlfriend was about to ask him to dance with her, but no matter how much she tugged at him, he didn't respond. The girlfriend got angry and left, but then he woke up like a zombie. He walked straight into the dance. When she saw him, she grabbed him, but the next moment, on the other side, Soo-in, a supermarket cashier, met a difficult customer. He brought the pork without weighing it. Soo-in reminded him that he needed to be weighed first, but he insulted her. Soo-in chose to remain silent. She thought the matter would end there, but after Soo-in left work, the man followed her quietly. He knocked her down on purpose, but the man still didn't feel satisfied. He stabbed Soo-in several times with a dagger. At that critical moment, Soo-in knocked him down with all her might. Then she ran away from the pain, but she soon fainted from blood loss. At that moment, an alien bug landed next to Soo-in. The man was then split in half by a mysterious force. When Soo-in woke up again, she was already in the hospital. Not only was she alive, the stab wounds on her body had disappeared. What's going on here? She asked the police where the man was, but the police told her he was dead. A few months passed. Soo-in had just gotten off the phone with her uncle. There was a piercing sound in her ear. She looked at the man waiting by the side of the road. The man stares at her, then he walked straight to the seat behind her. Uneasily, Soo-in got out of the car, but on her way home, the piercing voice appeared again. It was the same man. Soo-in called her uncle's number. Then the man suddenly rushed toward her. Soo-in ran away, but she was blocked by a woman. They wanted to make sure she was one of them. Then they showed their true colors. Soo-in was also transformed into a monster. After confirming her identity, the man invited her to join an organization called the New Progressive Church. They wanted to work together with their kind to survive. But the man in the shadows saw it all. Just as he was about to leave, he stepped on an empty bottle. As expected, he was discovered. Soo-in could have killed him, but after a moment's thought, she decided to make a deal with him. Soo-in woke up shortly afterward. The man came over and told her what she'd been through all these days. It turned out that she was different from the other monsters. To be precise, she is now a mutant. It turned out that there was still an alien monster living inside Soo-in. It was hard for her to accept. In order to verify the truth, she wrote down her doubts on a piece of paper. Afterwards, she lay on the bed and stared at the clock. The time on the clock was clearly 11:25, but she only blinked once and the time changed to 11:30. A few lines appeared on the notebook. The aliens told her to write down all her questions. Soo-in did so. When she woke up the next day, the notebook was filled with words. Soo-in was shocked. She began to read the monster's confession. It turned out that it had saved her life that day. Not only did it kill that man, it also healed her body. But as a side effect, it didn't take away her brain. All the monsters except her joined the Neophyte Church. They hunted humans for food. The Korean military set up a special organization to deal with them. They used their own unique methods to identify and kill the monsters. As the county with the highest number of monsters, their superiors ordered them to join hands with the Namir Police Department to eliminate all the alien monsters that are harmful to human beings. But before they do that, they need to do an X-ray on all the officers. After confirming that there are no monsters, Mr. Choi gave the police officers detailed information about the monster. A few months ago, a large number of alien parasite larvae appeared all over the world. They invaded the human body through the ears, nose and mouth. Then they took over the human brain and completely controlled humans. In order to destroy them, the host must be killed, and a shotgun is the best choice. Without nutrients, the monster will die within minutes. Then Mr. Choi brought a live parasite to the scene. Everyone in the room was shocked. Mr. Choi told them not to be afraid, because it was wearing a special hat on its head. If they resisted, they would be tortured. Someone asked why they didn't just kill it. Chief Choi explained that it was to attract its companions. A police officer thought it was inappropriate to torture a human being. Mr. Choi's face changed when he heard that. He handed over his ear to the other officer. It turns out that not long ago, her husband was infected by the parasite. Then he went on a killing spree in the supermarket. Before she could react, the monster cut off her right ear. Not caring about the excruciating pain, she stumbled towards the front door. But in order to protect the little girl, who was lost with her mom, she lost the best chance to escape. The only thing she could do now was to fight the monster to the death. Looking at the disinfectant water scattered on the shelves, a bold idea came to her mind. First, she quickly dodged the fatal blow. Then she quickly grabbed a bottle of disinfectant and ran into the operation room. The monster took the bait. She threw the disinfectant at him with all her might. The powerful corrosive effect caused the monster to grimace. She took advantage of the situation and tackled him. Then she ran out and locked the door. She looked at the parasite with only the body of her husband in front of her. She knew the love of her life was gone. In order to destroy the parasitic monsters that had invaded the planet, she volunteered to join the special forces. She even transformed her husband into a bloodhound that searches for his own kind. Soo-in's uncle suspected that Soo-in was also a parasite. Then he found Soo-in and tested her. There was no sign of her. It was a relief to the uncle. That night, the previous parasite reappeared in front of Soo-in. He said the pastor of the church wanted to talk to her. Looking at the man's threatening look, Soo-in didn't dare to refuse. The church was built deep in the mountains. Soo-in was careful with every step she took. When she first entered the church, every parasite here has a serious expression. It's obvious that the man on the stage is the priest. He's also the leader of the monsters. He warns everyone not to forget their instinct to eat humans. Only by uniting can we dominate the planet. But just as the priest reached the climax of his speech, the warehouse where human corpses are stored suddenly heard a loud noise. It turns out that John Yo came here in search of his sister, but he found his sister's mutilated body. He was enraged and killed the parasites patrolling the warehouse. The priest immediately ordered to take care of Kung Yo. All the monsters carried out the order in silence. Only Soo-in remained frozen in place. Her strange behavior caught the priest's attention. In order not to be discovered, Soo-in had to pretend to be on the move. At the same time, Kung Yo rushed to escape outside, but he ran into his old enemy. In a flash, all the enemies were mercilessly killed by the parasite. John Yusik took the opportunity to escape. I didn't expect to run into Soo-in. He didn't have time to explain. Yusik rushed to take her to find his best friend, who was waiting for him. But what he didn't expect was, his best friend betrayed him. He is the one who called the enemy. In the middle of the fight, a flying parasite suddenly landed on the car. It cut off the entire roof of the car in a single stroke. The fight between Soo-in and the parasite is still going on. The man is very confused. Why is she helping humans instead of her own kind? On the other side, Yusik's life is in danger. Before dying, the good brother told him a more cruel truth, that the one who really betrayed him is their big brother. Upon hearing this, Chang Yu went crazy. He was dragging his brother's body like a madman. Then he almost fell into the abyss. If it wasn't for the parasitic beast, and Soo-in's body awakening again, he would have died here. Soo-in had just escaped from the parasite, but he's facing a new and bigger crisis. Mr. Choi was going through the recent murder case files in Namir County. He accidentally discovered Soo-in's secret. On this day, Detective Kim received an anonymous phone call. The caller told him that a large number of parasites were hiding in a place called Shinjin Church. Before Jin could ask his identity, the caller hung up in a hurry. To be on the safe side, Lao Jin told Sui at the first opportunity. Members of the special forces quickly mobilized, but to Evrion's surprise, except for the warehouse where hundreds of human corpses were stored, there was no sign of the parasite. Judging from the supplies that couldn't be moved in time, it was obvious that someone had tipped them off in advance. Then while searching their church, Jin found a familiar keychain. He picked it up when no one was looking. This keychain was obviously given to Soo-in by himself. Why is it here? Is Soo-in also a parasite whose brain has been taken over by a monster? He gulped in disbelief. By chance, Mr. Choi was passing by. He saw him packing. At the subsequent wrap-up meeting, everyone could see that Jin was distracted. Detective Kang volunteered to visit the pastor's house. He drove to a warehouse and opened the wooden door. In front of him was a priest, who had been taken over by a monster. Then the priest handed Detective Kang a knife. The cross-section on it is very similar to the monster's tentacles. If we use it to kill the hound, it won't arouse suspicion. And the task was given to Detective Kang. On the other side, Mr. Kim called Soo-in on his own initiative. He wanted to meet with her to talk about something. Soo-in set the location at a deserted amusement park. Although Kim was working undercover, but the meticulous director Choi found out what was going on. He didn't want to hide it anymore. He asked Soo-in why he went to the Shinjin church. Soo-in was just about to tell his uncle that he was half human and half animal. There was an ear-splitting sound in his ear. It's a signal that someone of his kind is nearby. At the same time, team leader Choi is also approaching. Yusik rushed to hide with Soo-in in the abandoned haunted house. At the critical moment, Jang Woo turned on the electric switch to confuse the other side. But with the arrival of the special forces outside, there's no way for them to escape. At that moment, the parasite inside Soo-in woke up. He said he could stay and deal with Captain Choi, so that John Yo could escape. But she obviously underestimated the combat ability of the special forces. She was soon captured alive. At the same time, Kang killed the hound when no one was around. This was a seamless plan. But Kung Yo, who escaped, witnessed the whole thing. Although the body under the helmet is no longer a husband, but Choi couldn't help but feel sad for a short while. Then she put all the blame on Soo-in, and put the helmet that tortured the monster on her head. But the strange thing is, after their sophisticated X-ray examination, they didn't find any parasites in Soo-in's body. Although there is no proof that Soo-in is a parasite, but after seeing her face, Mr. Choi couldn't give up so easily, so he suggested to his superiors that she be taken back to headquarters. This was a death sentence for Soo-in. Looking at the other party's smug smile, Jin was furious. In order to save Soo-in, Lao Jin took the initiative to cooperate with Kung Yo. He will infiltrate the special forces and steal the helmet key. At first, everything went smoothly, because the special forces had just been established, so his identity wasn't uncovered. But when Chiang Yu was about to steal the key, she took away the key in front of him and announced the start of the escort operation. Then Yusik was assigned to protect Suin. Jin was ready to follow him in his car, but he was surprised to see that Detective Kang was going with him. At this point, Jin already knew his real identity, but he couldn't refuse at this particular moment. He can only take him along with him. The escort force had a smooth journey, but when they passed through the sea bridge, they encountered a serious traffic jam. Obviously, there are no obstacles at the front. Why is there a traffic jam? Team leader Sui hurriedly sent his men to the front to find out what was going on. More and more parasites are appearing on the bridge. They're massacring soldiers and civilians. Their ultimate goal is to take Suin. In the nick of time, John Yu finally got the key back and opened the helmet. Then he stole a car and fled. Detective Kang finally showed his true colors. He kept shooting at Suin. Seeing that the operation failed, he's chasing after him with Kim. However, he was about to catch up. Kang suddenly turned into another road. Detective Kang was silent. He drove the car to an abandoned shed. Then he told Lao Jin his secret. It turns out he's not a parasite. He was the only human who joined the church. He's a lackey of the alien monsters. In his opinion, sooner or later, the Earth will be taken over by powerful extraterrestrials. It's the best deal to join the enemy early. He even persuaded Lao Jin to join the church. At the same time, Suin suddenly sensed the presence of the parasite. Desperate to save her uncle, she rushed there, but she was too late. The two of them are locked in a fierce battle. Detective Kang is quietly aiming at Suin from behind. Just when he was about to pull the trigger, Kung Yu arrived just in time to save Suin. In order to escape the parasite's pursuit, Yusik contacted his childhood friend in a foreign country. He took Suin to live with him temporarily. Watching the report about the parasite on TV, Suin was worried about her uncle's safety, so she took the initiative to contact Captain Choi. She reminded her that Kim and Kang were both parasites, but Chief Choi obviously didn't believe her, because just now, Lao Jin submitted a clue about the parasite. He said that a warehouse in the suburbs is harboring a large number of monsters, and that he stole Detective Kang's hair in the elevator. The results didn't shrink as fast as the monsters did. Chief Choi hates the parasite with a passion, even though she knew that it might be a trap, but she was still determined to be at the front line. At that moment, Yusik told Chief Choi the truth of what he saw. She told Yusik to go to the police commissioner if anything happens to her. Let's get started. The parasites inside were killed by the special forces, as if they were completely defenseless, and the priest, who is one of their own kind, also joined the team to kill the parasite. Kung Woo and Suin can't understand why their kind would kill each other. Looking at the festival's banner, Kung Yo realized something. The priest's real goal is to take over the leader's mind. It just so happens that the mayor was invited to the festival, and he's the most promising candidate for the next president. This is a horrible idea. In order to eliminate potential threats, the priest released information about Suin and the other surviving parasite, as John Yu's sister, although she killed his sister before, but after being betrayed by her own kind, she had no choice but to cooperate with Suin. On the other side, Chief Choi is also suspicious of the identities of the two detectives. Kim, who was so supportive of Suin, now wants her in front of the media. Something doesn't add up. Chief Choi was at a loss. At that moment, she suddenly received a call from her superiors, that Lao Jin had received another anonymous report, claiming that traces of the parasite had reappeared somewhere. She was asked to go there immediately to eliminate it. On her way out, Choi saw that the Cid was also on the way out. The mission is to maintain order at tonight's concert. Suin called and told him, the parasite's true purpose is to parasitize the mayor's body, and their goal now is to protect the mayor and kill the parasite. Even though team leader Choi doesn't believe it's true, but remembering what happened earlier, she decided to rush to the concert immediately. Suin and his team arrived first. At that moment, the priest finally showed his true colors. He openly attacked the mayor. Just when he was about to succeed, Detective Kang attacked the pastor with a cart for some reason. He shot him several times and killed him. Then he quickly helped the mayor to retreat to a hiding place. But that was just part of the pastor's plan. Detective Kang pulls open his jacket. The real parasite inside killed the secretary. However, when the parasite was about to take over the mayor's brain, but it was ejected by a mysterious force. It turned out to be Sister Kung, who came in time to save the day, but she was obviously no match for the priest. Kung Yo continued to run away with the mayor. Without the parasite, the priest will die in a few minutes, but Detective Kang neglected himself. Then the final battle began. Possessed by the parasite, Detective Kang ordered Chief Choi to kill Suin. At the end of the story, Suin was still working at the supermarket, and Kung Yu joined the special forces. Chief Choi even reserved a place for Suin. What's more interesting, the parasite inside Suin sent her a letter. It's lucky that it didn't take over Suin's brain at that time. That's why it survived until the end.